אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. שכבתי בבית אדוני כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו. לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה אבקש. שכבתי בבית אדוני כל ימי חיי, עושה שמיים וארץ, אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אותה
Shana Tova, Ruchim Habayim, and welcome. Tonight in a world spoken into being, we remake the worlds with words. Words of love, words of praise. Together we talk and sing each other awake. Awake to new possibilities, to new life. Together on this first night of the new year, reaching in and beyond ourselves, we reach for the possibility, for the promise of the sacred. Taking a moment to orient you to your maksor, which you can find under your seat or behind your seat back, turning together to page 17 to offer an intention, a kavanah for the new year. Together, in your great mercy, help us, Adonai, to embrace your sacred gift of Rosh Hashana in love and in joy. May the holiness of this day bring fullness to our faith in you. Help us to gather all those scattered sparks of faith which are lost within ourselves as your people Israel gather in congregations everywhere to praise your name on this day. We stand on the precipice of newness, of change. And Jewish texts and tradition are replete with myths and metaphors, paradigms and practices that speak to our capacity for change. From the moment of creation, darkness to light, through the exodus from Egypt, narrowness to expansion, to times of crisis, transformation and redemption in the wilderness and beyond. The Torah recounts the occasionally swift but often incremental and deeply fraught process of individual, interpersonal, national, and theological change. There are shattered vessels, broken tablets, a temple reduced to rubble. There is mikvah, tefillah, teshuvah. There is tikkun olam and tikkun hanefesh. There is the Red Sea and the River Jordan and the promise of change that comes with crossing. On Rosh Hashanah, we are challenged to consider an expanded version of ourselves and a greater, more principled purpose for our lives. So it begins. May the song and silence and the sound of the shofar awaken us, each of us, to the promise and the possibility of change and to the sacred. The first moments of shofar, a question that I want you to consider before we sound is, what if it's not just a call to repentance? What if the shofar is an invitation to a cosmic dance-off with the universe? What if each cry is a single note in a grand symphony of the cosmos?
Tekiah.
Okay. It's a fast dance, this one.
Shvarim. Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shvarim. Teruah. Tekiah. Shvarim. Tekiah gedolah.
Reaching for your service insert sheet, number 2. Last.
ימינו ככתר
Kadesh.
Kaddish, Kaddish, Yameinu Hakem. Kaddish, Kaddish, Yameinu Hakem.
Turning now to our insert sheet number 3 as we kindle the lights of Rosh Hashanah. Extending also the lights of the holiday to all those who live in darkness.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
Are there any children here? Where are the children? I see one there in the back. There's my own child's. I'd like to invite the children to please come forward. And of course, we're all somebody's child, so if that's you, come on up. Yeah, that's you. I see you trying to hide back there. No, yep. So I tell you what, if you don't want to come up, you're going to come find me after, and we can do it, panim al panim, one-on-one, okay? A blessing for that child in the back. Nope, my own child's hiding. Insert sheet number 5. A blessing of gratitude for having made it to this moment together.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
Shehakianu v'kiyamanu v'hidianu lazman hazeh.
Lazman hazeh, this time, right now. Turning to page 16, at the bottom, a question is asked. The question is, what does it mean to be a congregation? The answer, it means to care about each other. Pray. We can also pray at home. We come together as a congregation in order to share in our life as Jews, to be part of the community of Israel, past, present, and future. Once the Ger Rabbi, may his memory protect us, decided to question one of his disciples. How is Moshe? How is Moshe Yaakov doing? The disciple didn't know. What? Replied the Rebbe. You don't know? You don't know how Moshe Yaakov is doing? You pray under the same roof, you study the same texts, you serve the same God, you sing the same songs, and yet you dare to tell me that you don't know whether Moshe Yaakov is in good health, whether he needs help, advice, or comforting. Herein lies the very essence of our way of life. Every person must share in the life of others and not leave them to themselves, either in sorrow or in joy. With that, an invitation to our board president, Jeff Greenberg.
Shana Tova.
Hashana Tova.
You don't have to answer back. That's okay. All right, let's see if I can read this. Thank you. Sounds better. Okay. A long time ago, I was too long, in fact, I interviewed a rather brilliant scientist. I don't know, he's from Stanford or Harvard or someplace. And he said something to me that I'm not going to forget. We were chatting about the Big Bang or string theory or some equally arcane way to explain the inexplicable. It was way, way above my pay grade. I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he said, if I were present at the creation, I would have done things a little bit differently. Oh, really? I can't think of a better definition of hubris. Yet I thought, it's too great a line to dismiss, so I've been waiting years to use it, and tonight I can. Today, here at CEHV, we're all present at a creation. And I don't mean a spiritual creation, I mean a reinventing, a reimagining of this unparalleled, venerable institution, 170 years old. And what a privilege it is. A reimagining, and what a privilege it is. And we all have a role to play in it. But all this raises the question, what will that role be, and who will we be in that role? From where I sit, the tent that we've pitched has 3 poles. The older generation, a repository of institutional memory, who can look back on what we've built here with knowing eyes. How about that? I'm missing a page. Here we go. With knowing eyes, proud of what we've accomplished, and both curious and skeptical of what lies ahead. The second pole is the younger cohort, burgeoning with families busy just keeping up, but with a keen sense of the Jewish culture and ethos they want for their children. And finally, there's a new addition to our family, the LGBTQ community, who has found a welcome and a spiritual and activist home here at CEHV. Any one of these would make a fine congregation, but we're blessed and maybe a little burdened to have all of them. It, of course, makes us unique in the Hudson Valley, with a reputation to trade on and to grow. I think, with absolutely no humility at all, that this can be our time. This past spring and summer and into this magnificent autumn, you've seen the shoots of change all around you. Foremost, we've brought on board an empathetic, a thoughtful, a concerned new rabbi with the energy of youth, the wisdom of insight, and a voice of empathy. If Rabbi Jack alone were our new beginning, it would be enough. But change is everywhere here. Aside from the obvious, there's the revitalized JLA. There's an active, groundbreaking, and energetic Tikkun Olam committee, lay-led and inspired teaching. And even our building has gotten into the act. It's named to Kingston's Historic Register of Spaces. I can go on, but instead, what we've done is, for this high holiday season, we've asked a few of our congregants to tell us what they find vital here at CEHV. You'll hear from them over the course of the holidays. Yet, here's the rub. It's the challenge of making this grand promise, this lofty vision, happen. I can't do it. I have no illusions about that. The trustees can't will it, and our very able clergy can't conjure it from the Siddur. No. But you can. It will come from your ideas, your support, and your pocketbooks. You can't sit passively by and expect it to just come to fruition. You have to make it happen. Your leadership here can sketch a path, but only you can roll up your sleeves, build the sukkah, shake the lulav, hide the afikomen, Only you can show up. Come to the events, suggest the speakers, give of your time, say that this is my temple, my shul, my congregation. And then this new beginning, this creation, will be well on its way to its next 170 years. Chag Sameach, a joyous and sweet new year to each and every one of you. Thank you.
We get to do this. This is the blessing, and we are so blessed. Inviting you to rise as you are able, page 17, as we bless the source of all blessing.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Page 21, rising, our spirits reaching, our souls remembering that each of us is loved by an eternal, everlasting, and perfect love.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu B'shochbeinu uvkumeinu Nasiach behukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hei mechayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yoman velayla ve'achavatecha atasir mimeinu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael.
We rise once again as you are able with love to love. We stand knowing that the one before whom we stand is the one, the only one. Page 23.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha uv'kol nafshecha uv'kol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'veitzecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shofecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'ota yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uv'ktavtam al mezuzot beitzecha uvisharecha. 'Turning to page 29. All this is true and trustworthy, our experience of this world.
Our lives are difficult. We are pursued by our ideals and our imperfections. We must choose between life and death, between slavery and freedom. We sway between listening for hope and succumbing to anguish and despair, the death of our spirit.
But we are not abandoned nor alone. We search the distant past and our own days, and we find the courage to enter our struggles. We wrestle with the pharaohs in our hearts and those in the world around us, and to slowly free ourselves from bondage. We are companions who help each other rise from the dust, continuing together. From age to age, the tale has been told, how Miriam and Miriam led us forth from Egypt. The deed of liberation is answered with joyous song, a moment of celebration that lingers and uplifts us in the midst of our days. Mi chamocha, page 30.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, norah tehilot osefele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai iloch le'olam va'ed.
Page 31 with a prayer for peace in our hearts and in all hearts. Transliteration can be found on page 32.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Vehamidinu Malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Vehamidinu Malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros alinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzitinu uvoinu. Ufros alinu sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzitinu uvoinu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom vehamidinu malkeinu l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporeis sukat shalom alinu v'al kol hamo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen.
Page 35.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah Be'alma divrach hirutei V'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon Uv'chayit chol Beit Yisrael בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה ברכו לעילא ולעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירון בעלמא ואמרו Amen.
Page 36. A new year opens before us, and we approach it in uncertainty with hope. For we cannot know what lies ahead of us, the opportunities and temptations it will bring, the pleasure and the pain. On the threshold, we pause in quietness to think about the past year, and the silence consider how we use it. Inviting you to rise as you are able, to find your center, to reach for your source, to open our mouths, and let not our words fall like dead leaves, but rise like birds from our hearts in the vast expanse of eternity.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. May God open my lips that I might utter praise.
page 47.
Shalom, Rav Yisrael, Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom, Rav Yisrael, Amcha Tasim. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov beinacha levarich et amcha Yisrael bechol hitucho sha'al b'shlomecha. Sefer Chaim beracha v'shalom, beracha v'shalom u'parnasat tozah, beracha v'shalom, nizacher v'nikativ lefanecha. Anachnu v'chol amcha beit Yisrael l'chaim tovim u'shalom. Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom.
Years ago, after many months of spiritual wandering, I made my way from northern India to the old city in Jerusalem, where I was strong-armed up the steps from the Kotel to Yeshiva Eish HaTorah, where celebrations for Simchat Torah were well underway, and where after a few rounds of L'chaim, 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 I found myself seated across from renowned Talmudists, Rabbi Edin Steinsaltz, Zikrono Livracha. All around us, men and boys danced with carefully wrapped Torah scrolls while singing impassioned nigunim from soul to source. Steinsaltz, meanwhile, asked me about my relationship with Torah. Now let me just say that while I had, at this point in my life, spent the better part of 6 years studying religion, both as an undergraduate and as a graduate student, that my relationship with Torah was what you might call casual. We'd met, of course. We'd spent some amount of time together. I was Torah curious, if you will. That my relationship with Torah wasn't serious, that we weren't yet close, was not something I had otherwise given very much thought to, or experienced as quite so awkward as when I had to face the prospect of saying as much to renowned Talmudist Rabbi Edin Steinsaltz, who, perhaps sensing my hesitation, stood up, and before I could respond, smacked me full in the face. It's a true story. "Let it happen like that," he said. I have in the years since shared this story many times, including perhaps with some of you, and have in that time come to regard Steinsaltz's open-handed call to attention as revelatory. Ridiculous, of course, but revelatory. Like the cry of the shofar, it disrupted my complacency, sharpened my awareness, but then only momentarily, only for a time. It wasn't until very recently when the Torah came to me just like that, when just a few weeks ago, in a chance stop on my way to Poughkeepsie, Steinsaltz's blessing, von der Bintelfinger, the blessing of Steinsaltz's bundle of fingers on my face, was fully revealed, and that what I now consider prophecy came to pass. In an ongoing effort to furnish my still unfurnished apartment, I had stopped together with Frankie and Jeffrey at a roadside antique shop, one of many such stops that my family has graciously endured as I work to outfit my home in my signature, impossible-to-source, mid-century industrial carnival style. And there, just inside the door, was an entire Sefer Torah. This Sefer Torah. This Sefer Torah sitting open at a table, uncovered, exposed, completely out of context. It wasn't a smack in the face, but it certainly felt like one. Where it hit me was in the heart. Hard. Struggled to catch my breath. According to the owner, who seemed genuinely relieved and honestly a bit mystified that a rabbi had suddenly appeared just as he found himself wondering what to do with the Torah scroll, according to the owner of Hyde Park Antiques and Collectibles, the Torah had only just arrived. That one of his downstate suppliers, a man I had encountered in the parking lot but who had since left, had found it while scavenging in the city for items to upsell upstate. According to the owner, the Torah, this Torah, was found in the trash. A Sefer Torah, luminous with the breath of creation, carrying within it echoes of Sinai and the wisdom of Hashana, a Sefer Torah, every letter a spark of divine fire, every word a prayer and a blessing, bound and adorned and placed in the heart of every one of us, a Sefer Torah, which the rabbis of the Talmud liken in Sota 49 to a partner, in Ta'anit 7 to a teacher, in Pesachim 49 to a friend, in Ta'anit 7a to a healer, in Berachot 61 to the breath of life, in Menachot 32 to a living entity, in Shabbat 105 to life itself. Imagine the Sefer Torah, this Sefer Torah, in the trash. How much? I asked. And to the owner's credit, he told me to just take it. I trust you'll do what's right, he said. He even thanked me for saving him from eternal damnation, which I was very clear was not something I could offer. I mean, this couldn't hurt, but the rest was up to him. And so I covered the Torah with its mantle and lovingly strapped it into my car, like I did with Frankie when that's what she needed from me. It was a sweet moment. Sad, too. This Torah had been lost, forgotten, discarded. And yet here it was, in my hands. What happened with it now was up to me. I was, of course, concerned that the Sefer had been stolen. And truth be told, I'm not entirely convinced that it's not. I have made several calls, including to Mechan Or, where the sticker on the roller plate says it was made, but I've yet to identify its owner. Not that anyone ever owns a Torah. The Torah is only ever on loan. And while the provenance of this Sefer Torah remains a mystery, the greater mystery is how such a sacred object, an object that I have otherwise only ever seen kissed and carried, celebrated, read, respected, revered, how this sacred object ended up in the trash. How could something so sacred, so precious be discarded? Then again, how often do we discard things that are precious to us? In a world so full of noise, distraction, division, despair, it's easy to lose sight of the sacred, to abandon our sacred commitments, to abandon each other, our communities, our values, ourselves, not out of malice, but through neglect. In a world that repeatedly devalues us and targets us, whether simply as Jews or, as was the case earlier this week when our Pride inclusion flag was cut away from the building, as queer Jews, or for any other reason. I'd like to point out that the flag has since been replaced, bring thanks to Regina and to Bob. In a world that routinely threatens us, forces us to defend ourselves, it's easy to forget who we are and what matters, for our vision to fall short of our values, for fear to give way to anger, or worse, to indifference. In a world in which the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and about others and who we imagine them to be, in a world where these stories seem to be crashing, crumbling, or on the verge of collapse, the story that Israel can keep us safe, that our liberal allies support Jewish interests, that peace is possible. In a world in which the grand narrative seems to be shifting, it's tempting to cling to stories that no longer serve us, or to visions of a world that's no longer possible. It's tempting to narrow our vision, to relegate anyone who is not us to a lower level of concern, or outside the realm of concern altogether. In a world so full of injustice, it's easy to be complicit, knowingly or not, in systems and structures that privilege some and disenfranchise others. It's easy to fall short of our obligation to our principles and to other people. I've seen many Sifrei Torah in my life, but not once in all my years of study and prayer had I seen a Sefer Torah in my home open on my dining room table. I felt awed, humbled, as though standing in the presence of something eternal, something that both transcended my sense of selfness in relation to the sacred, and that opened a space for the sacred within me. The Torah opened me to myself and to the quiet realization that there is something constant in this chaotic world. The Torah had come home with me, and I had come home to Torah. As I unrolled the Sefer, I wondered, as I always do when I read Torah, what this Torah was asking of me. That I live up to its teachings, that I embody its values, that I teach it to others, that I pass it to future generations. Yes, always. But this Torah was asking for something more. This Torah, which remains largely intact but has suffered some damage, this Torah is asking for repair. And just like that, it occurred to me, as though for the first time it occurred to me as someone who had studied sofrut, scribal arts, and who had spent the better part of the last year fleshing deer, making cloth, rendering ink, scribing parshiot, and making tefillin. It occurred to me almost for the first time what seemed obvious, of course. It occurred to me that the Sefer Torah could be repaired. It seemed obvious to me anyway. It's a fact I had long taken for granted, but that I've since come to feel is truly miraculous. Miraculous. That the Sefer Torah, the blueprint of creation, the dance of the infinite in finite form, the breath of the divine taking shape in the world, the Sefer Torah, created with intentionality and reverence, imbued with holiness, no matter its history, external circumstance, or current condition, though fragile and imperfect, the Sefer Torah can be repaired to its rightful place, where it can continue to teach and inspire and unite. Miraculous. It also occurred to me that, like this Sefer, we too can be repaired. We too were created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of the divine, and no matter what states of spiritual neglect we might find ourselves in, no matter how far into disrepair our souls have fallen, no matter how lost we feel, no one, not one of us, is beyond repair. Even those of us who, to paraphrase Oscar Wilde, might dwell in the gutter, can still look to and reach for the stars. Tshuva, you see, is not just about repentance, in the moral sense anyway. It's about rediscovering what is sacred and bringing it back into our lives. It's about repairing what's broken and renewing our commitment to what truly matters. The Torah is alive, is a living, breathing entity, sacred and valuable, like a person. The Torah is also a mirror and a light, reflecting and revealing to us who we are. As we enter the new year, we are called inward. We are called to shine a light, to reflect, to return, to repair. And just as this Torah can, with careful attention, be once again made whole, we can repair ourselves, our relationships, including our relationship with ourselves, with others, with our communities, with the divine. We too can once again be whole. We can do this. We get to do this. This too is a miracle. Throwing a Torah in the trash is an egregious offense, an act of extreme negligence and disrespect. More than that, a Torah in the trash ruptures the cosmic order, signals a kind of forgetting that there's sacredness embedded in the very fabric of our existence. And yet, like a Torah thrown in the trash, we can sometimes find ourselves in dark, challenging places. Some of us may even feel similarly lost, discarded, or forgotten. But as with Torah, our core value can never be diminished. Each of us can rise or be lifted from our lowest points and restored to a path of honor and purpose and joy. We are all vessels of holiness, full of wisdom and potential, marked by both wear and resilience. And even in our brokenness, we are bursting with divinity. Whether restoring a Torah or returning to ourselves, we are invited on Rosh Hashana and throughout the Yamim Noraim to participate in a cosmic process of tikkun. In the mystical teaching of the Ari, it is said that our world is filled with shattered vessels, fragments of divine light that have fallen into the material realm. That our task is to gather these sparks and to lift up what's fallen, to pull our light from the shadows of this world, from the shadows of our own shortcomings, and to make way for the divine lights, so that we all might shine brighter. And as we read in the Zohar, the act of lifting up something sacred that's fallen releases divine sparks, returning them to their source, let me ask you this. And this is just a philosophical exercise. Do not try this at home. What if this Torah had to fall so it could be lifted? So that we could lift it? What if this Torah had to be forgotten so that we could remember it? What if this is our work? To lift it up and to lift ourselves up along the way. Again, just an exercise, do not drop the Torah. I received this Torah in its entirety during an unscheduled stop at a roadside antique shop, just like that. Just as Steinsaltz prayed I might, and that I pray you will too. And for those of you who are wondering, I am now in a long-term loving relationship with the Torah, specifically this Torah. In fact, we just moved in together. We have our struggles, of course, but so it goes with Torah. Struggle is what it means to be in right relationship with Torah. And right relationship is what Rosh Hashanah is all about. Notice that on Rosh Hashanah, the symbolic anniversary of the creation of the world, we don't dwell on the metaphysical questions of creation, that we don't read Parshat Bereshit, that we don't read about the beginning from the beginning. What do we read? We read about relationships between Sarah and Hagar, between Isaac and Ishmael, between Hagar and God, between Abraham and Isaac, between Abraham and God. Why? Because life lived in relationship is what gives meaning to the world God created. Life lived in relationship is what gives Torah meaning. Life lived in right relationship is an entryway into holiness and justice and peace. And the possibility for holiness is everywhere and all the time. Every moment of every day, an opportunity to right our relationships between self and other, between self and source, an opportunity to return to sacredness. As with Torah, this, which binds us to the past, immerses us in the present, and guides us towards infinity, we need to be open to the possibility of the infinite. And as with Torah, we need to pick it up, to bring it home, to bring it back into our hearts. The Torah, like the soul, can never truly be lost or discarded. The Torah sits internally in wait, to be lifted, to be loved, to return to the source from which it came, just like us. May we all have the courage and the wisdom to return to the sacred in our lives. This is just the beginning. Shana Tova, may it be a good year. Shana Yoter Tova, may it be a better year. Shana Tova Umtucha, may it be a sweet year. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Turning to page 54. We read responsibly. What calls us here tonight, out of the daily routines of our lives?
The sound of the shofar calls us all to God. It calls rich and poor to true riches. It calls the most distant wanderer home.
What is asked of us tonight in this congregation at prayer?
Wake up and think about your actions. Do not mistake shadows for reality and waste your life chasing after trivial things that cannot really help you.
What will we discover as we open the book of our lives?
Who is not examined on this day? The record of all our actions passes before you. Our work and our occupation, our deeds and our ways, our hidden thoughts and our schemes, the real motives that lie behind our actions.
How should we begin when we look at our lives?
A person being led to the final judgment is asked, did you deal honestly? Did you fix times for study? Did you search for wisdom?
What difference will it make to the world if we judge ourselves honestly?
The world is judged according to the majority of its people, and an individual according to the majority of his or her or their needs. Happy are they who perform a good deed that may tip the scales for themselves and the new world.
Can we change the habits and patterns of our lives?
A new heart will I give you, a new spirit set within you. I shall take the heart of stone from your bodies and give you instead a heart that lives.
Can we leave old ways behind and begin our lives afresh?
For now, I create new heavens and new earth, and the past need not be remembered, nor even brought to mind. Be glad and rejoice in what I can create.
See now who's missing a page.
Rising as you are able, page 57.
It's a mystery solved.
Aleinu
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית,
שנתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Turning to our insert sheet number 6, as we pause to offer a prayer for healing in a world that is so sick. Inviting you to call to mind and offer to the source the names of those you are holding for healing in your hearts. We also pray for the healing members of this congregation. Tuttle Belly, Naomi Alpertz, Ellen Berlin, Jenny Bryant, Amelia Byers, Anna Cohen-Klein, Audrey Cohen, Cantor Bob Cohen, David Eisenstadt, Phyllis Fillmore, Stephen Goodrich, Ron Hall, Rochelle Kahn, John Kapor, Mary Jane Klein, Catherine Corner, Lucas Latham, Louise Lefkowitz, Charles Lippman, Jack Lyons, David Mallon, Jane Meyerson, Merle Perlmutter, Robin Seabast, Sloan Shortley, Sam Skolnick, Jennifer Sumber, Rosemarie Vernon, Lisa Weedman, Ben Wilder, Karen Wilder, Mark Wilner, Melanie Wisniewski, Kim Wiltsey, George Wolfson, Page 61. Each year should be the best year we have yet lived. Each year we are more learned in the ways of life. Each year we are wiser than the year before. Each year our eyes know better the sights to seek. Each year our ears listen with a finer tuning. Every happening is a jewel wrought about the fancy of time.
All that we understand of the universe is the setting for each sight and sound of day. The child looks with gladness each year to be 1 year older. Should not this welcome pursue us all our years? The piling of years is a richness like the piling of gold. Our years are coins with which we can purchase more wisely at the bazaars of each new season.
Our love is more pliant and patient, having been taught by time. This new year is 1 year older than the last. The earth is more abounding in its growth. The creatures have moved another step in their unfolding. Humankind has left us 1 more year of art for our contemplation. History is 1 more year resonant with lessons.
The sunrises are 1 year more familiar and promising. The sunsets are 1 year less fearful, and the peace of the night is 1 year closer.
As we gather to mark the occasion of the world's rebirth and celebrates the occasion of our rebirth, we do so with joy. But as always, in moments of joy, we hold what's hard. And particularly at moments of joy such as this, we remember those who are no longer with us. If you are in a period of mourning, 7 days of mourning, 30 days of mourning, a year of mourning, we mourn with you and invite you to rise and share aloud the name of the one that you are mourning this Rosh Hashanah. We mark also the recent passing of Joel Sherman, who's remembered by Michelle and Barry Entner, Robert Davis, who's remembered by Jane Davis, Kitty Satinsky, who's remembered by Mark Satinsky and Ellen Satinsky-Larkin, Max Amper, who's remembered by Carol Amper, and Alberto Flores and family. If you are in a period of remembering or marking a yard site, I invite you to rise and share aloud the name, the one you are remembering this Rosh Hashanah, the one you are missing this Rosh Hashanah. We mark also the yard sites of Hyman Cohen, who's remembered by Mitchell Cohen, Harold Kuhl, who's remembered by Richard Moskowitz, Ruth Parker Davis, who's remembered by Jane Davis, Rhoda Sherry, who's remembered by John Sherry, Lester Wolfe, who's remembered by Felice Gasul, Gerda Corvin, who's remembered by Michael Corvin, and Jason Zappel, who's remembered by Sharon Zappel. We add to this list the martyrs of our people, the names of those who have died without anyone to say Kaddish, those of every race and nation who lived their lives as a gift to humanity. Turning to page 62, rising as you are able as we stand shoulder to shoulder in mourning and remembering. Yit Gadal, Vayit Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divra Chirute, V'yamlich Malchute, B'chaye Chon, V'yomei Chon, V'chaye Kol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala V'zman Kariv Imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Ulomei Almaya. Yit Barak, V'yish Tabach, V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Romam, V'yit Naseh. V'yit Hadar, V'yit Aleh, V'yit Alal, Shmei Kurusha Richu, La'ela U'ela, Mikol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Da'amiran V'alma V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Tovim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Romav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol B'nei Adam, V'imru. Amen. Zikronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And now for a moment of announcements, I'd like to invite Vicki Felder to tell us what's going on. Shana Tova.
Tova.
Flowers for this holiday are provided through the generous bequest of the late Dr. Sidney and Renee Wolfe. Tomorrow morning service begins at 9:30 a.m. Bring your shofar and join us on the bima. No childcare this year, but a family-friendly space in the Zimit JLA wing will be open for families to accompany your little ones who need a break from services. Holiday children's services begin at 11 a.m. in the chapel. After morning service concludes, join us in the social hall for traditional dipping of apples in honey. Then at 2 p.m. is a Rosh Hashanah text study on Sarah and Hagar. Tashlich outdoors service begins at 4 p.m. in Rhinebeck. The flyer with location and directions is in the lobby. Rosh Hashana second day outdoor service on Friday, October 4th. Gather at 10 a.m. in Poets Walk parking lot in Red Hook for guided walking, meditation, and service. Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat of returning, Friday, October 4th at 6 p.m., Saturday, October 5th at 10 a.m. Sunday, October 6th, join in the fun. Help us school build our sukkah during the sukkah building and social from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Sunday, October 6th at 1 p.m., we screen Sheryl Sandberg's documentary, Screams Before Silence, which explores the sexual violence committed by Hamas during the October 7th, 2023, attacks on Israeli towns and at the Nova Music Festival. The film features never-before-heard eyewitness accounts from released hostages, survivors, and first responders, followed by a discussion forum. This is the final installment of our three-part series, Israel Today from Three Perspectives. Yizkor, please return your Yizkor card and Book of Life entries no later than Friday morning, October 11th, to be included in Yom Kippur services. To memorialize the loved ones with a plaque or place their name in the Book of Life, please contact us. For our full 5,785 high holiday calendar, please contact us or visit our website. L'shana tova umetuka, for a good and sweet year. Shana tova.
Concluding on page 60, to open eyes when others close them, to hear when others do not wish to listen, to look when others turn away, to seek to understand when others give up, to rouse oneself when others accept, to continue the struggle even when one is not the strongest, to cry out when others keep silence. To be a Jew, it is that. It is first of all that. And further, to live when others are dead, and to remember when others have forgotten what others have forgotten, what others have lost or discarded. Page 66.
Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'etz nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nigra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, בלא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי, בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוסי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. בידו הפקיד רוחי, בעת תישן ואירה, ועם רוחי וגייבתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. יאי ניי 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 ניי, יאי ניי ניי ניי, יאי ניי ניי ניי, יאי ניי 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 ניי, יאי ניי ניי ניי, יאי ניי ניי ניי, יאי ניי ניי ניי.
This is the time where we all get close. We come in to sanctify this moment. That's it. Up, 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 and together, right? Yeah. That's it. Moving in as we offer a blessing for that which sustains us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. L'chaim.
It's round.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
L'shana tova.
L'shana tova. May it be a good year, a sweet year. Thank you to all. Thank you to Barry. Thank you to our greeters. Thank you to Chazan Alexandra, to our choir, to Bob, to John. We'll see you at 9:30 in the morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, it's round. How special. Hi, Happy New Year. Shana Tova. My pleasure. Shana Tova.